Thank you very much for watching this video. Before we begin, I wanted to include a disclaimer, as I include in my about section as well as in the description of this video. All of my readings are for entertainment purposes only. They are never, ever meant to diagnose, treat, or otherwise have any influence upon your own medical issues or situations that you may have. I always encourage everyone to make their own sound decisions, including legal matters, financial matters, and every other matter in your own life. These are for entertainment purposes only. As these are general tea leaf readings, again, it makes sense, therefore, that some of this information will resonate with you and some of it may not. You may find that some applies and some doesn't. That is completely normal and to be expected, as these are general tea leaf readings. So again, take what you will and leave what you don't, and simply enjoy your reading and hope that you find it informative and insightful. Thank you. This is a general tea leaf reading for the week of July the 25th, 2022. So looking at this generally, we'll see roughly what is happening this week. And again, this is for pretty much for everyone, for the collective. So let's see what's in store this week, what the creator wants us to know. Looking at this tea leaf reading, I would say, if I was reading for yourself as a client, personally, I would say that you're in for an incredibly busy week ahead. And you can see that as evidenced here on the sides of the cup by all of the leaves here that are forming various lines. I have counted them before I began filming, and there are 7 lines in total. So that is a little uncommon when I read for people, because it just means that there's a great deal happening. In other words, 7 different events or situations occurring ahead. I would like to mention and clarify. I do read chronologically. So the top represents the present situation, the rim. The sides are on the way, and the base is more of the distant future. So as I say to clients, it's now, on the way, and later. Looking at the rim is where I usually start, just to sort of see what's going on. So what I myself do is I count the spaces, and I look for the spaces that are formed by tea leaves that are on the rim itself. All I'm going to say here is that for simplicity's sake, there is a lot of things happening this week. A lot of things are going to be occurring actually at the beginning of this week. So we could even say on like Monday, possibly Tuesday, but for sure Monday. There's one main event or situation that is likely occurring for all of us. So there may be one area of your life generally where you may feel like you really want things to start going ahead, and or you're very happy with the way things are and they're kind of calm and clear and quiet. So in other words, you may be feeling of like kind of stuck. Or things are nice and calm and quiet, and you're happy with that. So it can go either way. However, there are multiple things happening this week. So again, one main area, as well as several other areas which are going to be occurring. So these are other events or situations that may be appearing in your life, or generally for all of us. Looking inside the cup, there is what I call an main event or situation. This is shown right here. This is what I call an event or situation. In fact, all of the images that I ever see in tea leaf reading, I refer to them as events or situations, just for simplicity's sake. So we have this one main event or situation occurring here throughout the week. It starts here and it continues on. To show you, there are 7 lines, in other words, 7 different events or situations which are likely to be occurring. So you have 1 line, 2 lines, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one could even say that there's potentially like 8 different events or situations, maybe even 9. It depends on how you want to look at them. There are multiple events or situations which are likely happening. Some of them include 2 parts, which is why I had said 7 to begin with, because if you look over in this line here, this is actually a double line. So I would say that there's likely 2 different events or situations happening here. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to be reading this generally and with as much detail as I possibly can at the same time. The reason is because we could very, very, very easily spend an entire hour looking at this. I'm being very serious when I say that. For time-wise, I also don't want to bore you and take up a whole hour of your time, so I'm going to be reading this as generally and in as much detail as I possibly can. Let's look into a little bit more detail. Whenever there is one main event or situation which is shown, I do like to focus on that one because obviously it is the main event or situation that is being shown. I mentioned the other lines because I want to give as much detail as I can. Let's begin here at this main event or situation. And if you are interested in what I am seeing and how I am seeing it, I will reiterate once more that, as mentioned previously in my other video, Everyone reads completely differently. Everyone has different ways of reading and interpreting images and reading cups, and they're all, in my opinion, fairly valid. It's just that we're all different, and I read chronologically again, as I mentioned, and as well as we all have different meanings and associated images. These are the meanings and associated images that I have for myself, having read for many clients over the years. Looks like it really does happen right near the beginning of the week, as evidenced here. As you can see, there's really not much clear space between the rim and this event or situation. So there may be a somewhat slow start to the week, or another week you could say that is, it may happen literally at like Monday or Tuesday. But either way, very near to the start of the week. It does look good though. And I say that because I'm only going to mention a few symbols, because if I mention every single symbol I'm seeing, we would be here for like literally an hour to an hour and a half. So mention a few here. I do see a few triangles here. You can see them formed multiple in a few different ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you do have triangles here. So for me, whenever I see triangles, they are one of the most positive, if not one of the most positive symbols I see in tea leaf reading whenever I read cups. So it means to me, simply said, wonderful things are on the way. Very, very, very good things are going to be occurring. Now, having said that, looking at how they are formed, they are not perfectly formed. They're a little skewed. So when I see this, I always say to clients, goodness is on the way. It's just that like really good things are happening. It just may take a little bit of effort on our part to receive those things. Looking at this main event or situation, it is right beside those triangles. So to me, it's like they're aspecting each other. If you are familiar with tarot at all, you often hear the term of aspecting, where different cards mean different things when they are different, when they are beside different cards, essentially. So tea leaf reading is very similar to that. So in terms of this, I would say very good things are happening with this main event or situation. It starts off with a very good thing, with very good things rather. You can see a star, which I was very surprised at when I first saw it. I don't often see stars, but you can see it. Hopefully it will focus here. Right there. There, you can see a star. For myself, in my experience, stars can represent anything from abundance and prosperity in terms of financial as well and physical. We also have an American connotation because it's like the Stars and Stripes is one of their main images on their flag. So there may be an American connection coming up in the start of this week. With the overall layout here, the star is actually inside of a dragon. So for myself, I see a dragon right there. Dragons for me are like, this is how I describe dragons: a knight in shining armor, times 10 or times 100. Incredible, intense protection, love, strength, loyalty, commitment, guardianship, harmoniousness. All of those qualities are absolutely present in this event or situation as the week begins. And these are all connected with each other. Everything is related. There's two different parts to this. So as a general energy reading, we may feel like we're sort of juggling two different things. There's two different things that are happening in regards to this event or situation. It's like a tapestry. So every single thing that I'm seeing here in this event or situation is related, and then overall it creates this one main event. A new opportunity that may be presenting itself, or we may feel like there's a new opportunity that's just around the corner, that is associated with everything that I have just said. Not happened yet, but on the way. There may be a feeling of something sudden, rather sudden happening, or something takes us by surprise. Doesn't mean that it's bad at all, but something surprising happens. In tarot, we would call that a tower moment. Not that I'm a tarot reader. I'm very much a novice, but I know a little bit. This tower moment involves love, harmoniousness, very much a loving energy that's somehow a partnership. So whatever that may mean for you specifically, I don't know, but those are the qualities that are being presented here. There's a person, place, or thing with the letter M in their name. There is some connection between, you have another dragon in here beside a document or a scroll. So for me, that always means intense, again, love, commitment, loyalty, protection, guardianship, safety, love, and those qualities are associated with a document of some kind. That document relates to messages on the way, so good news is coming regarding all of this, and likely something to do with potentially the home and or family. There also may be a property connection with that as well. Somehow the number 3 is being shown in here as a prominent number for the beginning of the week, which you can see a version of the number 3. Oh, need to focus there. Right here. Number 3 is right here. And beside that is actually the number 4, which you can very clearly see here. Now, whether that is representing Jupiter, the planet, in other words, the Sagittarius connection, that's also a possibility. Again, many meanings for different symbols. However, I'm saying that as in case it makes sense to you. There's also a new beginning here that's being shown, a new start of some kind, a new venture. Also, the number 114 may also factor into your awareness in some way, shape, or form. As you can see, literally 1, 1, and 4. As the week begins, you may feel that there is a great deal of a balance between clarity. You're very aware and certain of what is happening, and also there is a feeling of things being realized, determined, and still being discussed. I sometimes refer to these forms of layouts as a snowball because it does begin rather small at the beginning of the week, and it continues to grow in prevalence and become more prominent rather as we progresses and becomes more significant. So we may feel at the beginning of the week that things are starting off a little slowly, however they do gain speed and they do become more significant and more important to us. So there, in terms of energy, we may start off feeling a little bit, maybe a little bit low, maybe a little bit stuck, and as the week progresses we just feel like things are getting better and better and better, and we continue to progress. There is ample communication happening as the week progresses. As overall, you can see that there is a triangle that is being very clearly shown here with 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. So, as I mentioned before, triangles being one of the best symbols that I possibly see. This event or situation is going to be very, very good. Generally speaking, as a general energy reading, things are going to feel and be like really good. Like we're going to start to feel really good about whatever the scenario is, or even just generally as the week progresses, we're just going to feel much better. There are partnerships to be had, which may even involve someone who is a sign of Pisces. This also includes the number 3. You can see up at the top where there is this small grouping here. It is related to this main event or situation, so I'll just look at that very briefly before we continue on. It includes swiftness. There's an element of speed that's associated with it. There's also a lot of discussions, I would say, that are being had with this. Messages, news, and information is on the way, potentially either from, we may experience this likely electronically, so whether that's through social media, email, phone call, text messages, along those lines. It is very good. We're very happy with this. It looks like it's a very positive scenario. Documentation specifically to do with likely travel in some way. Not too sure what that would mean collectively or for all of us. Energetically speaking, however, travel is being shown in here, so take that as you will. That absolutely has many meanings with this, and it does create a new opportunity of some kind of new beginning with this. There's also stability that is being presented in here, even though it may feel or be unconventional for us, and really good things. Again, more triangles there. It looks like it's a very good scenario. I also meant to mention that near the beginning of the week, there's also a feeling of analytical, so maybe we feel like we need to use more of our intellectual minds a little bit, our thinking and critical analysis skills. This has to do with our own inner wisdom. You may also find that there may be someone in your life who is very wise. Certainly as the week progresses, this event or situation is showing that there's going to be a lot more discussions and a lot more thinking to be had. We may even feel a little bit more scattered. So I would say that you can see that here by all of the tea leaves that are shown here as more dots as opposed to clearly defined images. So I would say that make sure that you're grounded, whatever would help you to ground, whether that's having nature walks, spending time with your family, your pets, getting outside as much as possible is a wonderful way to ground, just to reconnect with yourself and with Creator and make yourself feel better essentially. Because this is showing that it may be very easy for us to feel pulled in many different directions. So again, just the need to take a few deep breaths and go inward and recenter yourself. The letters J and the letter M for Mother or Mary are being shown here together. That would be a person, place, or thing. As the week concludes, again, we're probably looking at more Friday. We may feel a little bit cheeky, may feel a little bit mischievous. We've gotten through the week and we're just feeling pretty happy and pretty good about it. Feeling confident about ourselves. That includes the qualities of unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment, and also potentially feeling like we just want to travel a little bit, move around a little bit. I'm only going to say this once here. I've seen this image now 3 times. I've seen a version of a hen 3 times. So for me, hens, they represent a possible additions to the family. It can also mean like something coming in, something is being delivered. So whether that's finances, whether that's like literally a new child, something new is being created and given to us generally. So we may feel, this is near to the end of the week as well. I've seen it all through the week, but again, near the base here. So there may be a feeling of after effort that we've put in, we are receiving positive rewards. Another way that we could look at it is that there may be like 3 different areas of our life or 3 different scenarios that may be happening where that is the case, where we are receiving goodness. There may be an element of taking a leap of faith. It can also be interpreted as celebration as well. Person, place, or thing with a letter C that's involved with this, as well as the letter E. Action, speed, and swiftness of movement are also indicated in that scenario. So there may be a situation that sort of happens maybe on a Friday close to Saturday where we're just feeling really good. A person, place, or thing with the letter P is also involved. Generally speaking, looking at the week overall, you can see how clearly the images are formed in this event or situation. And as you can see, looking in the base, that sort of is the case. Looking into, this is more of the distant future. So to me, this is like looking at the weekend and maybe even to a week ahead. You can see in the base how clear the images are formed. However, we could very easily spend a good 30 minutes on this alone, if not a little bit longer. So for me, whenever I see images like this, the base formed like this, to me, this means that there is a great deal happening that we're just not supposed to know about. There's very good surprises on the way, and multiple surprises of that. And I say that because you can see how densely clustered and grouped these images really are. In some cases, we can't see what's happening in there, such as here. So we are not really supposed to know what is energetically happening at the end of the week, going into next week, other than really good things. Abundance and prosperity is very clearly being indicated. Swiftness of movement, there may be some foreign travel that's being indicated here. There may be a connection here potentially with Scotland in some way, shape, or form. Now, Scotland for myself represents a lot of mysticism as well, beautiful spirituality, earth-based nature, spirituality as well, that kind of like our own like ethnic traditions. As my background is a lot of Scottish in the Highlands. So for me, whenever I see indications representing Scotland, essentially an X, which is like their flag, that's what means to me is beautiful Celtic spirituality, my heritage. So there may be a feeling of going back to your own culture, like your own ethnicity, your own spiritual background, if that makes any sense to you. Unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment are being shown again, and I say that because there is an image here of a dog. So it's what dogs mean for me. See that right here. Partnerships are also being indicated, whether this is a partnership with someone else, a group of individuals, a company of some kind, or an organization. It could even be a partnership with yourself, like you're starting to feel more in tune with yourself and you're listening to yourself and you're doing things with and for you. A feeling of wholeness, coming back to yourself, realizing who you really are, which is always something that we're always working on, in my opinion anyway. Jubilation is really being shown here. I've seen 2, if not 3 images of people dancing, jumping, taking a leap of faith, standing their ground as well. Jubilation, empowerment, being true to yourself. So there may be a need for maybe some independent thought or that inner spark, that inner fire that's within us. So we may feel like really good by the end of this week, going into the weekend. And this is being very clearly evidenced by the little puppy face. Well, it's almost more of a dog's face. You can see the little tongue is sticking out, the shape of the head, the 2 eyes, and the nose. So, as I just mentioned, really good things on the way, and with those qualities being present. We may also feel the need to just get ourselves organized a little bit in whatever shape or form that may mean for you specifically, whether that's cleaning your closet, your fridge, paperwork, whatever that may be for you. There is a theme here of getting things organized, even if somewhat slightly, as well as this theme of wisdom. It keeps showing here. It really seems to me that this is a time of really going within yourself and finding that inner wisdom, as cliche as it may sound, within yourself. Going within, finding those answers within you, not within someone else. And watching videos such as these, I think, are really kind of fun and exciting. And I do very much the same thing, because it's not always nice to hear what someone else has to say. But ultimately, I think as long as we temper that with our own good judgment and discernment, and always going inward and knowing that the answers are always within ourselves first, that's a healthy, very healthy viewpoint, in my opinion. And to round this tea leaf reading off, I will say that yet once more, there is speed, action, movement, things happening fairly quickly. There may be a possible Sagittarius connection that's involved in some way, shape, or form as well. This involves a new opportunity that's being formed. This is again going into the weekend and maybe even into next week as well. This has been shown a few times, and I say that because I keep seeing horses. So that's one of the meanings that horses have for me. Obviously, there are multiple, however, that's at the moment, that's what's coming to me, so that's what I'm saying. And also, for example, you can see here in the base, hopefully you can see, where the dog face is, one of the eyes is actually someone who is dancing with their arms up. I keep seeing images here representing that. There's people dancing, there's jubilation that's going to be had. We're going to feel really good, and I keep seeing this. So sometimes in tea leaf reading, even as I'm going along the cup, and I've read for many, many years, I am constantly thinking, oh, I saw that, I completely trust it, know that to be true. However, when I see images that have similar meanings, or different images that have similar meanings, or the same image repeated consistently throughout the cup, it's almost like a bonus message. And one of those messages here seems to be jubilation, joy, standing in your own power, happiness. These in action and movement, and things are happening quickly as well. As I mentioned earlier, obviously, I did focus on the main event or situation as well as on the base. However, I wanted to share this picture of the cup because it very clearly shows two of the double lines that I had mentioned before as part of the lines around the sides of the cup that I mentioned as one of the 7 lines that I had seen. As you can see, it actually forms a tree. The one on the left forms the trunk of the tree as well as the treetop. For me, trees always represent abundance, so there may be the situation that is occurring during the week where that's just very abundant. There may be 2 parts to it. I know 2 came up before. However, it is showing here that this other situation is comprised of 2 different parts, 2 different aspects, and it is abundant. It is prosperous. It's a very, very good situation. So something else to look forward to. So thank you once again so much for watching. If you find this video informative and helpful, maybe even a little inspiring, please consider giving my channel a subscribe, like, and perhaps leave a comment in the comment section below, and maybe even ring that bell for future updates. As you can see, this is my very first video here on YouTube, and this is definitely a brand new journey for me. So I really want to take an extra moment to thank you very much for watching this video. It does mean a great deal to me. So thank you so much again for your time and for your interest, and I do look forward to seeing you here again next week. Have an amazing week, and thank you.